Yo, what's up? It's your man's Joaquin. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe to the podcast because we got some dope interviews. So now let's get into the podcast. They listening, they listening, they listening to me. They listening, they listening, they listening to me. Yo, what's up? It's your man's Joaquin, and you tuned in to another episode of Heat Level Podcast. What's up, world? Now, y'all better know how I do it, man. I'm always bringing a lot of type of people on this podcast, and I'm always going to take it to another level each and every time. So this time, I have a former music executive. And if y'all don't know if you're a former music executive, just look at his wall, man. The man got a lot of stuff on his wall, but he's currently a professional fitness trainer, and we're going to get into that also. Yeah. I'm on mine too, best
I see.
All right. And he goes by Kuti Mack. What's up, brother? Tell the world where you're from.
Man, what's happening, Joaquin? It's a privilege to be here right now. I'm hailing from DC, the nation's capital. You know, was born across the pond in the UK, came here when I was young, lost my accent when I was just a smidge older, and been here rocking ever since. Called a lot of places home temporarily, but DC's always been home base, and that's where I am right now.
No doubt, no doubt. So Mr. Kuti Mack, so what we gonna get into, because, you know, we had a little time before the podcast time, so we gonna get into some music, baby. We gonna talk about the music a little bit, but first and foremost, let me know what made you get into music growing up in the UK and moving over here in the US.
Man, you know, in my travels, even coming here as a kid, and then when we got here, bouncing around, we bounced around a little bit, you know, moved about every year and a half, 2 years till we finally settled in a spot to call home. And the one thing, schools used to change, friends used to change, you know, everything used to change, neighborhoods used to change. The one thing that never changed, the one thing that stayed with me the whole time was music. Music was the one thing I could take with me, I could sleep with, I could walk with, I could work out with, I could, you know, just kick it with, I could have fun with my friends with. It was the one language that even when my accent wasn't right, you know, it was the one language that everybody spoke, that everybody understood. And so music has just been one of those things that when you say like what got me into music, music got into me.
Oh, you know what? You're right about that, because, you know, it's like music. When you hear music, it's like, man, it's part of me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So your thing of music, how what type of music you start out listening to, right? And when I grew up, hip hop was always there. You know, me born in the '80s, hip hop was there. It was new, but in the early '90s, you know, my mom used to listen to hip hop, R&B, you know, music from the '60s and even the '50s, you know, and the '70s and the '80s. So, what was your influence? Like, was hip hop a bigger influence than the old R&B, like the OJs?
You know, that's an interesting question. Being an immigrant, the interesting thing about the way I processed music when I started paying attention, which was pretty much when I moved here, so it was about 4 or 5 years old, was that I was absorbing the music the same time that my parents were. So if it was just about the music that my family was listening to, you know, my father's Nigerian. So, you know, if anything, he liked old classics. He liked the James Browns and the Wilson Pickett's and the Otis Reddings. But he kind of had grown out of listening to that just for pleasure. You know, he was kind of, you know, he became like a dad. He just was the dad. But what we would all do, but they still love music, and my family still loved music. So we would all together, whether it was my baby sister, me, and my adult parents, and then my cousins that might float in from overseas, we all could sit around the TV and watch Soul Train. We all could sit around the TV and watch American Dancing. Exactly. So we were all experiencing all of that together. So it wasn't a situation where, if I have to really think about it, the only music I can think about that was being played without me necessarily having a choice in it was actually my dad's cousin, Fela Kuti, Afrobeat. So Afrobeat was pumping, but it was just a thing. And since nobody else that I knew was listening to that stuff, it wasn't music that I talked about. But it's so funny how now, some 30, 40 years later, Afrobeat is starting to pop.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like,
they're not getting their props though like they should, because a lot of this music, shout out to Drake, but Drake take a lot of Afro beats and
shout out to him for making it popular.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Vegas was talking about it. I don't know if you know Mr. Vegas.
Yes, I know he is. Yep.
And I know he was talking about, like, they should get a lot of props of what a lot of these artists are doing now, because it's like, they using their style of music, and they'll
get really
putting them.
They'll get it. I ain't even worried about that. But like I said, my pops, like you said, my name is Kuti Mack, Kuti. You look up Fela Kuti, he is the Bob Marley, Tupac, James Brown,
of Afrobeat.
Of Afrobeat. Like he's all of that in one person. And so, but that was just dad's cousin's records, when I was coming up. It wasn't something where it was a big deal was made about it. And so it is interesting to me to see it all popping now. But I grew up, so that said, the music that was contemporary when I got to the country was honestly my foundation. So hip hop was brand new. The first radio record, Sugar Hill Gang, the first radio hip hop record. That was the first mainstream record. That was the first rap record I heard. Pop music, MTV, and all that stuff that was popping.
MTV.
That whole early
Michael
MTV.
Jackson and
Prince. I'm a Prince fan. So that was my foundation. But the beauty of it was, because Prince was one of my favorite artists, and so many of the legendary artists kind of channeled through him. So you see, through him, you get a little bit of Little Richard. Through him, you get a little bit of Jimi Hendrix. Through him, you get a little bit of Sly Stone. Through him, you get George Clinton. Through him, you get John Lennon. So
Chuck Berry, you get it
exactly.
all.
So you was
Jimi Hendrix.
So when they would compare him, as a kid, I'd go read up on who that person was and then go buy those records. So that's how I got introduced to the music that preceded him, was because whatever influenced Prince, I was like, had to be dope. So I went to find out about it myself.
All right. So, I gotta ask you about one of the people that's on your wall. Rest in peace, Big Pun. You better know it. Punisher, Big Pun. I was growing up like, I don't want to be a player no more. I'm like,
classic.
Right now, did you ever get a chance to meet him?
That's why I got the plaque. I don't want to put it all on my back. There's an incredible team at Loud Records that I work with.
I want to ask you a question.
I work with Pun like a lot.
And rest in peace to Pun. And but one thing I want to know, like, I know he was going through a struggle with his weight. And I read the documentary of Big Pun. Now, what do you think if we had these cats in the industry now? And when I'm talking about if we had Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., and Big Pun. I'm talking about the three that left us early, man. If we had them cats, and not taking nothing from the Nas, the Wu-Tang Clan, the Method Mans, the Jay-Z's, and I'm not trying to take from them. Because they are. Nas is one of my favorite artists right now. His album is #1 in the country right now, King Disease 2. So Nas is somebody I've always listened to. And DMX, rest in peace, my guy. Okay.
I got stories.
But, I bet you do. But what I would say, if them three cats was in the game right now, man. Big Pun, Tupac, and Notorious B.I.G. Look, do you think the music that we are hearing now would even exist?
In a way, I think it would. Because, what I love about... Because let me say this. I worked with Biggie, too. Biggie's blueprint was the blueprint we used with Pun.
For Pun. Okay. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. So not saying that it wouldn't exist. Okay. Okay. It probably would exist. But would you think that it would be like it is? Would it be more oversaturated with the artists that we got now that really don't have a lot of substance in their music?
It's possible, man. Here's the thing. Technology is one of the things that really changed everything. We were talking before this show even started about how you can now make your music independently, put it out, distribute it the whole nine without the buffer of a label. Right. Technology allows you to do that. Okay. And the thing is, if you open the door, and I'm not saying this about you, but if you open the door and make it, and like if I got a lock on my door, only people with the key can come in, right?
Yeah, you're right.
If I unlock the door, somebody that might try the door might get in. If I open the door and just prop it open, whoever wants to come in can come in.
Come in, exactly.
So as long as that technology allows everybody in, you're going to deal with what everybody's giving you, as opposed to what an A&R director, a label. And so as somebody who's been an artist and somebody who's also been a label suit, I understand the merits of both. I'm always going to side on the artist side. I'm always going to be artist first. But what I'm saying is that, when there aren't gatekeepers, sometimes whatever gets through. And once it gets through and it works in a capitalist society and the industry designed to make money.
So do you agree? You agree what Ice-T was saying on Drink Champs when he was on Drink Champs and he was talking about hip hop and he was saying, man, it ain't an art anymore. When he was talking about, and everybody like, oh, he's just an old man. But no, if you really just listen to what he was saying, he said they don't just let anybody in R&B, right? They don't just back then, you actually had to be good. You really had to have an art form and hip hop artists. Okay, what do an artist do? An artist paint a picture, right? When we talk about that, they paint a picture. It doesn't matter if they're doing it with a paintbrush, they're doing it with the music. An artist is painting something for you to see. Like me being a filmmaker and an artist and a podcaster, right? I'm painting a picture for you to see, right? And what it is the pictures that I'm seeing a lot of these artists, their canvases are just all over the place. There's no meaning to the canvas. They paint, you get what I'm saying? And so when you're looking at the picture, you're like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? you get what I mean? Have you ever seen kids, right? Let's be honest. Let's get going. You ever seen kids that's like 3 years old, right? And this is how I'm feeling. Look, I'm not bashing new hip hop artists. I'm not, because there's some out there that's on their shit, right? There's a lot of them out there, but they're not getting pushed to the mainstream. Them are not who you're seeing. You're seeing what making them money, which comes from a lot of the white suburban kids, but we'll get to that. All right. So when you see them kids and they throw a canvas together, they just throwing paint on stuff, and they be like, and you be like, oh, that's so beautiful, Tommy, or that's so beautiful, Brian, and that's your kid, or that's a kid. You telling them that because you don't want them to feel
put it on the fridge, right?
You know that it is shit, right? You know it is shit, right? And I feel like that's what they do to these artists now. It's like people are yes, man. It ain't man, that ain't really. It's more like, man, I know this shit is fucked up, and I'm just gonna be like, oh man, that's good, man. Keep it going, man. It's hard, man. That's gonna go number one. And what happens is, and you've been in the industry, right? And and I don't been around people in the industry. And I tell you like this, a lot of it is manipulation. I know T-Pain was talking about the sales manipulation thing, but a lot of it is manipulation now. See that plaque you got on the wall? That was straight sales. You know what I mean? It wasn't you get 1,500. Like, have you seen the RIAA new thing on how you go platinum? 1,500 streams equals 1 unit. But what the fuck is that? So, and then I just don't even like how they do it, because they diminish. It's diminishing what you're working for. It's like Spotify, right? They say, okay, we'll pay you a penny, half of a penny, half of a penny. So if you get 100 million streams, you get $2,000. You know what I'm saying? Like it. I'm saying, and I understand that the labels now are in cahoots with all them. I already know how it works. I'm not stupid, but as you been a former executive in the music, what is your thing to these young cats out here? The ones that's looking for the fame, and actually the young cats that actually think a lot of these cats are paid, when they don't understand that a lot of these cats are in the red, they're not in the black, and they're still in the red. And when they keep on jewelry, oh yeah, I'm blinged out. A lot of these young cats don't understand they still in the red. You understand what I'm saying? What would you say to these cats? And I ain't gonna even say young cats, because now we are in an era where you can be 36, 38, 40 years old and make a hit. You know what I mean? Right. So what do you say to the artists about that?
With anybody doing anything, me being on your amazing podcast, you having a podcast, you making movies, us making records, whatever it is, why are you doing this? I asked that question first, and whatever the answer is, as long as it's honest, stay true to that. So some people just want to be famous. Like, in this era, what I found is that fame and notoriety is the capital that most people trade on right now. Not skill, not acumen. It's like, am I famous? So in other words, if I turn around after this podcast and get 3 million new followers on Instagram, then all of a sudden, I get a blue check because I got 3 million followers, even though I'm the same person I was yesterday. And if I say I want to do XYZ for a certain amount of money, I can do it now just because I have the followers, not because of whether what I'm offering is good or bad content. And it's the same kind of, but whereas when I came up, it was about the bottom line. Like, were you selling units? Were you making money? Like that was the capital. It wasn't about, well, do enough people like me? You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. You had people like DMX that didn't care if you liked them, 6 times platinum on his first 6 albums, multi-platinum, and then went platinum in the same year with 2 albums. He didn't care if you liked them or not. He stayed true to himself. And I be trying to tell people the reason why it's a new artist every other day. They have a hot song, you don't see them no more in a year, is because they're following the trend. They're not staying true to themselves, man. Like, I done had a couple artists come to my studio, and I ain't signed nobody. There's one person I signed, but it was something else. But because everybody is sounding the same, and that's not a bashing. It's like everybody got the same cadence, the same flow, the same type of beats. I don't know who it is I'm listening to.
Now, here's the interesting thing, though. Here's the interesting thing, and this is the thing that I think is beautiful about hip hop as a format. Hip hop has been around just a few years. Hip hop has been around as long as I've been alive. We were basically born the same year, roundabout. And I love the fact that hip hop has gotten old enough where there is hip hop for adults. There is hip hop for the kids. I remember when I was young and I would talk about not even just hip hop, just music in general. And the way we as adults, 35 plus, 40 plus, talk about the music sounds a lot like the way my uncles and aunties and pops used to talk about the music I listened to. Like, it all sounded the same. It ain't like, I remember thinking like Prince was like the freshest, most different thing I'd ever seen in my life. Now, and I remember my uncle, who had a zillion records, would be like, man, let me show you what Jimi Hendrix looks like. Let me show you what Sly Stone's band looks like. Let me show you how James Brown dances. Let me show you how Little Richard plays the piano. And my thing was like, yeah, but Prince is doing all of that. But that's a side note. What I'm saying is that to my uncle, Prince was nothing new. To me, it was wide open.
Well, okay. Now, me personally, I never got that they sound the same. What I used to get was, they talking about that gangster stuff. They talking about that.
But that's lumping them in. They say rap is going to be gangster.
Yeah,
and I can tell you what that was about. Because gangster rap was a thing that when NWA had this situation with the F the Police record, and the FBI investigated them. They went platinum. So when that happened, then that became the thing that the corporation started feeding into and started feeding that narrative. And they even gave it to Hollywood with Boys in the Hood and everything else. Now, before that, if you go back just 3 years before that and look at what hip hop was, it was Crisscross over here. It was Arrested Development over there. It was De La Soul over here. It was X-Clan. It was Will Smith, LL Cool J. It was a whole bunch. You didn't even know which coast people were from. You didn't even care. Digital Underground, you didn't know it was West Coast. You just knew they were just this rap group.
Yeah. But see, what I mean by sounding the same is not that. I mean like the voice. You get me?
I agree with you.
That's what I mean. But
here's what I'm trying to tell you. But if I'm listening to Das Effects, right, or I'm listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony, I can tell you who each member is when they come in.
That's okay. Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's all.
But I'd be lying to you if I listen to a Migos record right now, I could tell you when Offset starts versus Quavo. I'd have to concentrate to get that. And I think some of that's just about me being older. Some of that's about it just not being mine.
Okay, but I'm about to put some on you. I talked to a lot of young cats that are the same way. like they the same way. They like, man, you know, I listen to Migos. I don't know which one coming off, but you know, they good though. I like it, you know, because what it is it sounds the same for everybody. Use the same type of, auto tune, the same levels, the same is, you know what I mean?
I get it.
T-Pain used auto tune, but look how he used it. Okay, I can listen to a T-Pain album, right? And I can listen to the 808 and Heartbreaks of Kanye West. They both using auto tune, but you can hear the difference.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Even when Lil Wayne started using auto-tune, you can hear Lil Wayne and you listen to T-Pain and you listen to Kanye West, you can hear the difference. Right. Now, they all sound the same. You get what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like,
I get what you're saying.
It's hard to decipher it because I'm like, okay, is this? Even Future. When Future used auto-tune, you know it's Future. Right. Okay, he using auto-tune, but he sound different from these other cats that all sound the same when they using the same thing Future using. You get what I mean?
But again, I think it's because the door is open. Because I can tell you about, I could take a beat for you. I don't know how far back your old school memory goes. If you take like, so Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, right?
Okay, no doubt.
Okay, so you think about that beat in your head, right?
Okay.
Do you remember Like a Virgin by Madonna?
Yeah.
Think about the beat.
It's slower.
And then think about Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean. The beat.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
Those is all within like 2 years of each other.
Yeah, so they kind of, you know,
they got the same rhythm guitar, the same drum. So what I'm saying is, it's only the difference was that back then there were people playing instruments. So if you're playing an instrument, like I got this Rhodes behind me, at some point, just because it's me playing it, my hand's going to touch it a little different, and that's where the differences start to come into play. But if everybody's doing stuff mechanically and digitally, then it limits the range of which you can kind of play with it. So what I'm saying is, there's only 12 notes a man can play in American music.
Yeah,
only 12 notes.
But like you said, it's how you play it, because guess what? That's what I like about Timberland, right? Timberland did that, but he came with, you knew when you heard a Timberland beat. To this day, you know when you hear a Timberland beat.
But you remember there's a period when like everybody started coming in with those everybody started coming in with those triple kicks and those fast hi-hats because Timberland was winning with it. So Soul Shock and Carlin and a couple of other these cats were starting to make beats where you're listening like, okay, Tim didn't do that, but nobody was doing that until Tim did it. The 808 started kicking in, and those 32
But you know what made Tim so good though? Is Tim used to use human sounds.
I remember when Timberland was just making commercial jingles in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
With a young lady named Melissa Elliott, and they were at WMYK.
Oh yeah, one day they was part of your boy. What's it?
Kiss 92.
The one of
Devontae. But like when he just had his ASR 10 and would be sampling, I would see him make these drops for the radio station, and I was thinking like, this kid is dope. Like so you know, I've been around.
Like Swiss Beats. You know what I mean? What made Swiss Beats different, right? You know, him using that high sound a lot. You knew, for example, when you heard that you know, stop, drop, and then you heard, then when he came out with Eve, that you know it was Swiss. You like, oh, that's Swiss. Right. That's Swiss. Now it's like you can't tell them. Look, back then you could tell.
You have to do more work now. You have to do more work because it's more people out there.
And you know, another thing that's true, you know, is singers. A lot of these singers cannot sing live, brother. They can't sing live. They got so much compression and stuff. And look, anybody can be a singer. If you can get in there, you can harmonize. They can put so much compressions on it and make you sound like Whitney Houston. I've seen it, I've heard it, but a lot of these people cannot sing live.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's because of the format. A lot of times people were discovered singing live. Now you're discovered singing through your Instagram or your YouTube page. So, it's like I said, so it comes back to what I was saying before. It's technology, man. Technology is the gift and the curse. Technology is giving people access and ability. Technology is giving people the ability for us to be able to talk to each other. Technology has been able to allow somebody to make a record in their computer that sounds just as good as records back in the day used to sound when you had to rent out a whole studio room and get an orchestra. So on one hand, it's a brilliant thing because it's giving more people access. On the other hand, it's made sure that it's ensured that there's so many people have access that you have to now pick and choose. And before, I think that when I was a kid, we relied on the institutions to tell us what was dope. And now it's like we have to kind of find it ourselves. And I'll say this, there are people out there that are making incredible music. There are people out there that are making great music. There are people out there every now and then that the mainstream will tap and say, okay, Anderson .Paak, we're going to let you shine. But what I love about it now is that if you want it, whatever it is musically, if you know where to look, you can find it.
And look, real talk, I just like what you like is what you like. Do you think that the game is a little bit oversaturated? Do you think the game is a little bit oversaturated?
I think it's oversaturated per the standard we used to be accustomed to. Because
I think this is it's like, and it's mostly hip hop. It really is. Somebody was talking about man, hip hop, they hear you and they throw you away so quick. But when you got a pop and stuff like that, these cats, Adele, she can make an album, leave 4 years, come back, make an album, leave another 4 years, come back, make an album, and she's still embraced. Where hip hop is like, if you're not constantly,
I think that's a social thing. I don't get too deep, but I think that if you look at when music was taken out of the school systems as a mandatory course requirement, you'll see when the music started to
decline a
take
little
a dip.
Right?
If you think about the valuation of Black people, therefore the product, whatever's a product of them, how that is treated as just a commodity that you can just trade. Now everybody loves it; it's valuable. Because you'll see
to throw it away.
They quick to throw it away. So for instance, and then what happens is we start to buy into that. For instance, what I'm saying is it's finally starting to happen where you have a Kanye, a Jay-Z, where cats are 40 years old plus and still can actively make music that sort of matters. But when I worked with Outkast, I remember distinctly, Andre, one of the things that Andre was concerned about was just man, who wants to hear a 30-year-old rapper? So as he was nearing 30, that's when you started to see him go, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to start singing. I'm going to start doing these other things because I can't imagine someone who listens to hip hop wanting to listen to a 30-year-old person rhyme.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we started changing. That was a piece of his evolving. And so, whereas now, like you said, you can be 30 and drop a record, and I applaud that, because before you couldn't even make 3 albums in hip hop before cats it's over.
It's over with. You're right. Because look,
whereas John, you can make records until Kingdom Come. Stevie Wonder, I remember vividly, and I'm not going to name the executive that did it, but I remember because I have respect for that executive. But there's a certain executive that took over Motown Records, right? This is back in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. And Stevie had an album, he presented it. Now, I don't know what the album sounded like, so I can't speak for the quality of the album.
Yeah.
But the executive heard the record and was just like, man, that joint's whack. Take it back to the shop. Matter of fact, we might drop you type thing. And that's the first time Stevie had been told no at Motown. Now, if you're Elton John, I don't know when the last time an A&R came to Elton John or Bruce Springsteen and said, whatever you're giving to me, we're rejecting it. Go back to the drawing board or we're going to drop it.
I don't think I ever heard that one. But
so we do it to ourselves sometimes because we buy into the notion that, even when we talk to each other, like people talk to me, they want to talk like, oh, my OG this, my OG that. And it's like, I should be able to age gracefully, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like DMX thing that he went with Jay-Z and he spec'd on. He was like, okay, I'm sending you an album. Well, I got 6 platinum albums and you telling me, the video, you just gave me the video. What you mean you ain't putting this out? Like, it made no sense to him. It's like, You talking like I done flopped. You know what I'm saying? No,
Right.
I'm still popping. So why would you do that? You know what I mean? Well, that was a thing that,
they went back and forth a little bit.
Jay-Z might not want to speak too much about that, but everybody kind of know when he became the president, what he did, he knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
But he was in a tricky situation too, because I'll tell you a classic example. So like I have a friend, good friend from college who coaches pro football, right? We're the same age. And so he was one of the youngest coaches to get hired. And when he got hired, there were people on the team that literally were our age, that literally played against him. Now, all of a sudden, he was the head coach. And it was an interesting conversation that we had. We were all sitting at the dinner table. I was like, this is wild. Like, this is your coach. But, go back 10 years ago, we were all boys. And so sometimes people want things to kind of be a little different, because if it was, if it was an old white guy 15 years older than us, it would just be like, yeah, whatever you say, coach. But now, because it's my man saying it, because we're peers, we used to even compete against each other.
But even LL Cool J, had a problem with Jay-Z too.
He should have.
I know.
But at the same time,
he talked about it, and he was just like, he talking about I'm too old. He expressed what and you're looking at Jay-Z, okay? And then you got to understand, Jay-Z, the president, who knows what kind of pressure was put on him, okay? We don't know, because he ended up leaving, right?
Right.
So we really don't know what type of pressure, because even though he was the president, he didn't run it. You get what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I worked for some of the people that were there at that time, and
Leo Cohen. Like, let's talk about people like Leo Cohen, Steve Stout. Okay, now, I personally don't put my music on United Masters, okay?
Okay.
I've did some research about United Masters and a lot of complaints about United Masters. And so, I go through DistroKid, right?
Okay.
All right. Now, the thing is, TuneCore, DistroKid. I was TuneCore first, but then I went over to DistroKid because it made more sense, since DistroKid have stake in Spotify and stuff, and you're verified as soon as you get on it and when you go through DistroKid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and the thing is, if you leave a lot of bad tastes in people's mouth, people will say all this stuff, but then turn around and sign to them. And that's what gets me. Like Leo Cohen, right? He runs 300 now, right? All these people got some fucked up things to say about Leo Cohen, okay? They got it. I'm talking about from Nori to, a lot of people, okay? They say he's a culture vulture, and from the research I've done on this guy, he
put in work. He put in work, and he was there at the bottom. At the bottom of popular hip hop music.
And this is what I gotta say, right? You can say a culture vulture, whatever, agree with that, but this is one thing you got to do. You can say all this about it, but what you got to respect is the man took what he needed to take and do what he needed to do to elevate to the top. So what he did is, with no talent, I can't sing, I can't rap, but I know how to use what other people got to make me rich. That's the whole point of leverage also. And that's why Jeff Bezos is a billionaire, right? That's why people like Bill Gates are a billionaire. That's why Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you say his name, that's why he's a billionaire. People like, he didn't create Facebook. He took something and he made it better. Even after getting sued, and he paid all them people off. Them people, at the end of the day, you can't get mad at Mark. They took the money. They didn't have to. They didn't have to take the 600 million and the 1 billion. They didn't have to take it. They could be like, no, I don't want the money. I want this much stake in the company. Because was they seeing that it was going to be worth what it's worth now? Because they looking at it then like 600 million. Let me get that, right? So that was on them. So you out of the picture now. So you can't come back and say, well, he took idea. No, you took the money. Once you take the money, you can't come back and say all this because you didn't have to. You feel what I'm saying? So you sold yourself out. So when people talk about Leo Cohen, I don't know everybody's situations. I heard so many situations, but this is the thing. If you went into the deal knowing that you are getting signed to a machine, okay? It's called a machine, okay? if you don't have any leverage, shout out to Russ, man, because I really listen to Russ and he puts people up on game. If you come to a record label, and quote me if I'm wrong, if you don't got no leverage these days for sure, you're not getting the deal you want. It's not.
That's always been the case.
Yeah,
that's always been the case. The first thing I was told, even as an executive, even as an intern aspiring to be an executive, the first thing I was told by my man, Vince Catlett, he told me, he said, hey, man, look, the name of this game is juice. However you can find it, however you can figure it out. You figure out what you're going to stake your claim to, what you have that people want, and you leverage that. He told me that on his words as he was boxing up the office that I was moving into. And he was right. He was right. It's all about juice.
And that's what I be trying to tell people. And I'm like, look, if you doing shows, you setting up your own, shout out to my man Hobson. I always talk about him on my podcast. Shout out to Hobson, man, because the guy has been doing his thing with no big backing, man. The man is on his business. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Shout out to Tech 9 too. So
wow.
You get what I mean? So this is the thing. People like Tech 9 could have been, he got stories about what happened back. That man could have been signed to these major labels, but he looked at it like, what I need y'all for? Why do I need to do this, man, when I'm killing it? The man got his own warehouse that produces all his stuff. People get tattoos of strange music on their neck. The man got Coke machines. And come on, he don't worry. He making Forbes independently, like really independently. You get what I'm saying? And
the thing is, there's work to that. And sometimes there's some artists who honestly don't want to do that work.
No,
like, I've talked to artists. I've talked to artists that have had record deals, have enough of a following that if they just learn how to manage their following that they acquired while they were signed to a major label, they'd be able to be fine. Yeah. And it took them a long time to come around to the notion of not having a label back them because they just didn't feel like doing that work. I know some artists that really would prefer a record deal. And I'm like, you don't need a record deal. And I was telling them this stuff like I said, early like turn of the century, like, early 2000s.
Before all this
stuff, man. But they're just like, nah, I need some back end. I need some tour support. I need this. And so some people just don't want to do the work, and it's not for everybody.
And you know what? And you're right about it. And that's the thing. But see, this is the thing. Okay, like Russ, right? And I speak of him because, he did it the right way and he breaks it down. If you listen to Russ, he breaks it down. They mad at him though. He told me they mad at me, but here's what it is. I did what I supposed to do. Now, this is the thing. If you got assigned to a label just to get out there like he did, he already had leverage, got a good deal, only stayed with Columbia Records for 2 years, didn't re-sign. Y'all gave me a real bigger push, and now I know how to grab that because he came out with 10 albums that didn't do nothing before he ever blew up. You feel what I'm saying? And what he did is said, all them 10 albums now, I get royalties. That's all mine. Now people go back and listen to everything of me. And like you said, it was work, right? And a lot of artists, they got to understand. They say, I want everybody to do this for me. But this is the thing. That's cool, too. But you could be independently and hire people to do things for you. But see, this is the thing about being independent. What I mean by independent is you can sign to a major label distribution deal, though. You don't have to sign nothing to them. Just have them to just distribute your stuff.
But see, sometimes people will do that and think that there's some magic wand, like, okay, because I got distribution, I should be feeling right. And there's still work. There's still work that people have to put in. And as long as people aren't either aware of that or don't know how to do that, they could distribute. Because honestly, as soon as you put your record out and throw it on iTunes, you got distribution.
Yeah. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know if you know. Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Now we popping, right?
Right now, you're popping right now.
Yeah, they say it's going to be like the next Hollywood, right, man? This crazy down here right now. Okay. Now, this is the thing. This is my first short film, right? Okay. I was telling people, hey, man, I'm doing a film. A lot of people didn't believe me. A lot of people, now that they see the poster out and it's coming out September 30th, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. Like, okay, this hip-hop artist is making a film. Oh, is it a gangster film? It ain't even a gangster film, right? So I'm hitting them sideways like, dang, they thought it was gonna be gay. I did 7 years in prison. I've been out 3.5 years. So, they thinking like, oh,
Welcome
man, he
back.
better get in it. Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Now, I'm gonna give y'all something. Then I'm writing a horror film right now. Let me tell you, I'm gonna give y'all something y'all don't even know is coming, right? You got to put in the work. I'm about to break something down to you right now. And my work ethic is crazy. First and foremost, right? The podcast that you own, I do it. I used to have 2 co-hosts. They didn't work out. Much love to both of them. One of them I've been knowing 15 years. It's just, he couldn't do it. All good. All love, right? I edit all my own podcasts, okay? I record and master and mix all of my music. I edit and mix all of my music videos. I do all of my banners, all of that on YouTube, all that on Instagram. I promote all my stuff. I write, produce, screenplay, write all my films. I do all that. And what you see behind me, I built it all myself. So that's my booth. That's my podcast table over there. I got 5 mics over there, and we upgrading some stuff on there. So you get what I mean? And I do it
That's
all.
leverage.
Even the
That's
shirt.
leverage.
See that?
That's heat level leverage right there.
Exactly. And
because whatever anybody wants to tap into, if you just become the cat who says, you know what, I'll handle your banners, or I'll handle your social media, or I'll handle your whatever it is, that could just be a service that you then duplicate and keep rocking with, and that makes you useful. That's your leverage. That's awesome.
And I tell people this all the time, right? People say, you can do this. And this is what I say. I say, yeah, I do it all for me, right? And I said, but guess what? I'm looking for artists, right? And I tell artists, right? I'm looking for good. I said, look, brother, you sign with me. You getting 3 things, right? You getting the music, you gonna get put in the film, and you get on the podcast, brother. I'm carrying every area for you at the moment. I'm not talking nothing about machines, but most of these big labels, they give you the music. You got to go out there and work. But a lot of them labels ain't saying, oh, well, look, I'm going to give you this audition. You go and you be in that movie. A lot of y'all got to go out there and do it yourself. I'm the one can put you in the movie. I can be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get you to play this part right here. Let's get this done. You might not be an actor, but let's get you a little cameo or something. So when this film come out, people can see you in other things. You get what I mean? And I'm a writer first, right? So I write R&B songs, just send one out to an R&B artist also. So I do all of that. And I had a network come to me. You know what I mean? Shout out to DTN TV network in Atlanta. They launched July 28th. But, they like, oh, we want to put your show on the network, boom, boom, boom. Okay. I listened to them. And what I understood is the work I put in by myself, as I see, is a lot. And y'all should be doing a lot more than that with more people that y'all have.
Right.
I did some research, and my opinion, I just felt that, and the little numbers, I wasn't feeling the numbers first and foremost, right? And so I just let that go. And then I got offered another TV network in Florida, right? And I did my research, and I was like, okay, let me go back and see what's really going on. So I go listen to my podcast. I'm saying, oh, they love my voice, because I always hear that. You got a good voice, you got a voice. And they listen to my music like, oh, man, your music, man, dang, man. Why you never blew up? Well, I did go to prison 7 years, but anyway, it's another story. But, and so a lot of people like my work ethic, they like the content I'm putting out. And it's like they say, okay, I want to be part of it. But the thing is, they trying to say, well, we the reason, from when I'm hearing the numbers and stuff. I'm like, hold on, nah, we ain't doing it like that. I'm not gonna be the person that jumps off your stuff and you get, nah, it ain't even going like that.
And the beauty of your positioning, your juice, your leverage is because you have walked the walk so intricately through every facet of what you do. When somebody presents a deal to you, you can tell immediately what it is truly worth to you or not worth to you.
Yeah.
You know, because every time somebody come to me and offer me a gig to do something in the industry, and I look at it, and I talk to some people right now, as a matter of fact, and I look at it, and it's like, okay, is this really? It seemed like a good look on the surface, but is it really a good look? I know if it's really a good look because I've walked through these things. I've walked through those hallways. So that's really incredible for me to see on your behalf, like what I'm seeing what you're doing. I really like the fact that because you have rolled up the sleeves and done the gig yourself. It's kind of like when you see that TV show Undercover Boss, where the bosses come in.
About that show
so the boss will come in and work with these employees, and a lot of times they are stunned at what they're seeing because they've never been through the bottom. But if you've come through the bottom, then you become the boss. So when someone comes in and offers you a gig, a contract, a situation, you can go, nah, I'm good because I understand. Or you can say, you know what, that's worth doing. Let's roll.
Yes, exactly. And that's how I be feeling about the situations. You know what I'm saying? I know you do too. Now a little bit, before we get a little bit into your fitness thing. First and foremost, I want to ask you, who's your top 4 hip hop artists? Okay. This is Heat Level Podcast. We don't do top 5, we do top 4. So I need to know your top 4 hip hop artists. Go.
All right, top 4. Number 1 is Notorious B.I.G. all day, every day. Number 2 would be Run DMC.
Run DMC, rest in peace.
Number 3 would be Gut Reaction. Number 3 would be see, we're not doing 5, so that actually helps me eliminate one person. So 1 is Biggie, 1 is 2 is Run DMC, 3 would be Jay-Z, 4 would be, and this is total package, even with the MAGA hat, Kanye West.
Hey, you left Tupac out. Well, I know. Everybody ain't got Tupac. I get it.
You heard me say Biggie, right?
Nah, you gotta give it to Kanye, man. Look, they say crazy, but Kanye a genius.
He's an artist.
Mr. 6.6 billion worth. Thank you. But anyway, So we got in the music, man. Get a little taste of what you do in the professional world of fitness, because I am a fitness junkie also myself.
I see you, man.
I got a lot of people in shape while I was in prison, man. I'm talking about a lot of people, man. I remember I got out, I'm running half marathons and stuff with ease, man. So, I'm getting, trying to get back to I ran 7.18 miles the other day in an hour and 10 minutes. So we getting back. So no doubt. I'm 36.
I do a 5K. I'm a 5K and that's it. I was a sprinter in high school. To make me run more than 3.1 miles, they gotta be a legit reason.
No doubt. Hey, Doc said I got a heart like an 18-year-old. I'm 36, so I'm double.
But there it is. That's how we do it. I'll be 50. I'll be 50 next year. So
Oh, no doubt. Okay, you don't look 50, brother. You sure?
I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yes, that's what's up. So your fitness, man. So what you do in fitness, man? The professional fitness world.
So in fitness, what I do is I'm a nutrition consultation expert. I also, of course, teach people how to exercise. I use fitness as a platform just to inspire people to be their best daily. You see this BYBD, that's my brand, Be Your Best Daily. And I have a 6-week Super You program that's really a 90-day program that just helps you incorporate the lessons that I've learned over the decade and a half that I've been training to help people actually get a healthy lifestyle, not just like some crash diet or something where they do this cleanse and then when they're done, they don't know what to do afterwards. I actually give you the tools with the 6-week Super You. You can go to 6weeksuperyou.com. That's the number 6, 6weeksuperyou.com. You can go there and sign up just for more information. I'll give you a little freebie to help you kind of get set in terms of your mind state. Okay. And if you're actually interested in the program, by all means hit me up. But like what I do is I love to help people, whether it's through music, where I was helping people just have a great time, or helping people's careers, or helping people just get through the day with something that made their lives feel like it was worth living, whether it was at the club or on the radio or in their iPods or wherever it may be. Music was something that was that I use as a vehicle, as a professional, to help people's lives. And then from there, I transitioned into fitness, which is even more specific, because fitness, like you said, if your heart is all right, then you have a chance to wake up in the morning. You have a chance to do these beats. You have a chance to listen to this music. But if you're not healthy within yourself, it's a non-starter. And you're seeing right now in this current era that people who thought they were healthy are getting taken out by a virus that knows how to attack those who are not healthy.
You know what to say, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I am not vaccinated. Okay. I don't got nothing to do with people that do that. But look, man, I don't even take Tylenol. I don't take medicine. I ain't never had chickenpox, never had the flu, never had pneumonia. I'm 36 years old. And I'm gonna tell you something, man, take care of myself. And I make sure that people around me are taking care of themselves. And the ones that don't want to, you know what? I can't force it, but they understand when they get to hit that. You know what I mean?
I'll say, before anything else, even, I am vaccinated, but I don't judge. What I'm saying is, before anything else, you do want to be healthy, because like I said, this virus is hitting people at whatever the weak point in their immune system is.
Yeah, anything. I'm talking about if you got
whatever
any
it is,
small love,
whatever it finds it, and so my thing is, you don't hear people talk enough about being healthy. They all, they're talking about vaccinations, sure, they're talking about this, that, and the third, but nobody's talking about how, look, if you just eat right,
eat right,
get
exercise.
Rest,
what they say, mind, body, and soul.
Exercise, don't stress. If you reduce all those things, and like I said, the 6-week Super U program that I got helps you with all of that. Helps make all that a lifestyle, and I walk through it with you, so that using every bit of information and expertise that I've gained over these years to help the next person be healthier.
All right, that's a good thing too, man. Look, I'm telling you, man, I put people, look, I got my own workouts, man. I got one called 7-round burn session, and you're going to do about 1,500 reps, and you have to do it within 2 hours. So yeah, I got, man. I got a lot. I got my own.
I already know. I already, as soon as you said it, my adrenaline started. I was like, ooh, okay, I know exactly what kind of work this dude is into.
Yeah, man. Hey, look. And I still am able to, get fit, stay fit, and still do everything that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it so good about it. All right. But professional fitness, health, trainer, that's what's up, man. Keep doing that, man. Make everybody healthy. Now, before we get to our last segment, tell everybody where they can find you on all your platforms.
So on all my platforms, Instagram is probably the quickest one. You can go at Kuti Mack, at KUTIMACK. On Facebook, if anybody's using that, I've got a bunch of groups there. You can start at BYBD Fitness, and between those two, and online. Just if you just want to hop online, go straight to the website and see everything you need to see. You can go to BYBDFitness.com.
Oh, that's what's up, man. And yeah, hey, look, you know what your slogan should be? You want to have the cooties?
Oh, that used to be my line. Like to the young man, that used to be my line.
Oh, yeah. But the girls like, what you mean? Hey, that's good. I like that. All right. So who you got on your wall? So you got Big Pun, and who's the other artist on your wall?
Oh man, let's see. These are just some of my favorite plaques that mean the most to me.
Okay, so, give me two. I want 2 of them off your wall. Give me 2 of them.
2 of them. All right. Ooh, man. Yeah.
Just two. 2 of your favorite ones.
Big Pun's my favorite for sure.
Okay.
For a million reasons.
Okay, well, give me a second.
And then my second one. Man, there's so many up here I can't pick. I'm gonna say Outkast Stankonia.
All right, cool.
Don't be mad at me, Carl.
I got you. So you got a Big Pun and Outkast Stankonia. So that's what brings us to our next segment. It's called Under the Bus. That means I take 2 names, and you got to pick one above the other one, and the other one you have to throw under the bus. So you already know the 2 names. You got Big Pun with the Big Punisher. You have Outkast with the Stankonia album. You got to pick one of those over the other, and the other one goes up under the bus. Let's do it.
Like asking me to throw one of my children, like one of my twin children, under the bus. You understand what you're asking me to do?
Actually, ask somebody to throw either their brother or sister. You should see that one. So let's do it.
I just do it quickly, and again, because at least I can say sorry to the people that I'm doing this to. So Big Pun goes above.
That's what's up. Hey, everybody. Mr. Kuti Mack have picked Big Pun over Outkast, the Stankonia album.
Slow, man. You saying that a little too slow, too long, man. Come on, man.
Everybody gonna have to hear this one. So Outkast, that means Big Boy Andre 3000. Mr. Kuti Mack have thrown y'all up under the bus. That's what's up. Hey, I appreciate it. Big Pun, you got it, baby. Rest in peace. All right, so we're gonna get to our last segment, man. The last segment is called Brutally Honest. That means I ask you a question and you have to be brutally honest about it. If you are not brutally honest, I will roast you. That means I will roast everything I've been saying about you and the back of your wall since we've been on this podcast. You will get roasted. Yes, I am a comedian also. So here we go. This is the question, and the question is, have you ever cheated on your girlfriend out of spite? Let me hear your answer. It don't matter when, but have you ever cheated on your girlfriend?
Have I ever in my life?
Have you ever cheated on your girlfriend out of spite?
Yes.
My brother, I know you have. I have too.
He said, I know you have.
I know you have. Don't play with me. Hey, what the industry all that? Oh yeah, she'll piss you up. Be like, all right, I'm gonna knock her down then since you want to play. I already know. Yes, no doubt. Yep, you did. Yep, I'm glad you didn't lie. You kept it real because I wouldn't have to roast you. Because guess what? I had some good roasts.
I could tell. I was like, you know what?
I can't even roast you now because I believe it.
I eat raw food and we're gonna keep me raw. Like no roasting here.
No doubt.
Go that way.
Hey, yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on something like that. So everybody, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and share on this podcast, man. Make sure y'all do that. So now we about to do the drops. Y'all know what it is. Here we go. Hey, if y'all want to listen to my music, man, y'all can go to all the streaming platforms. It's Joaquin. It's WYQEEM. It's WYQ. Eric, Mimi, Mama, Moo. If y'all want to listen to the videos, man, y'all want to go watch my videos, man, it's Joaquin TV on YouTube. It's Joaquin TV. It's WYQ. Eric, Mimi, Mama, Moo TV. And this is Heat Level Podcast. If y'all want to go listen to Heat Level Podcast, I can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts is at, or you can go to heatlevelpodcast.com. And on YouTube, if you want to see the visuals and see people talk, for some reason, a lot of people like to see people just talk on a mic. And I love that too. So y'all can go to YouTube, Heat Level Podcast. And if I got to tell you how to spell Heat Level Podcast, you're dumb as hell. You shouldn't have dropped out of school. Yes, and that's true. So, Mr. Kuti Mack is it, before I even get done with this, y'all make sure y'all check the movie out. It's called Damn Justin Again. If you listen to this podcast, it will be out September 30th. So if it's past September the 30th, that means it's out. So go to Amazon Prime and Tubi TV, IBM DTV, and you go check out the movie, okay? And
say the name of that movie again.
It's Damn Justin Again. Yes, it is, man. He loves film production. My first film production. Y'all better go watch it. If y'all don't, I really don't care, but please do it. All right.
Congratulations.
I'm going to keep it going. I appreciate that, brother. Do you have any last expiring words to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Man, my motto, be your best daily. Think about this really quick. If you're your best just today, and you do that seven times in a row, you've had your best week. You do that 4 times in a row, you've had your best month. You do that 12 times in a row, you've had your best year. You do that 10 times in a row, you've had your best decade.
Okay.
Now, let's say you trip up and mess up. The day starts when you started.
Okay.
So you start right now, this second, you messed up all day today. And right now, this minute, you start again, 24 hours till tomorrow, just focus on being your best. Man, life is incredible.
Man,
regardless.
It's incredible. It is.
Even if.
And it's fragile, man. So y'all make sure you take care of it, man. Like my man said, hey, watch what you put in your bodies and in your soul. Mind, body, and soul. Your mind, body, and soul. You got to work on all that, man. It's all Trinity together. So, hey, thanks for them encouraging words, man.
No problem, man. You know Rest in peace, Chunky Thompson. We were just talking about, my Bad Boy alumni family. He was a legendary producer from the DC area, worked on that Notorious Big album, as well as a bunch of other classics. And he just passed away. So,
rest in peace to him, man. Make sure I get that, and we're going to put that at the end of the podcast, the rest in peace, and we'll dedicate this to him, no doubt. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, everybody. He gave y'all some encouraging words, and I'm about to give you some encouraging words right now. These are my encouraging words. Subscribe, like, and comment, and share on this podcast. That's some encouragement. Y'all know how I always say, I'm about this big. Every time they in, they ride. Every time they hear this beat. Every time they in the spot. Every time I'm on they street. They listening, they listening, they listening to me. They listening, they listening, they listening to me. Every